Hey man, how's everybody doing? This is OJ's MMA here. Before I even get into this video, guys, I just want to let you all know that this is going to be one of my last videos where the audio sounds like this. It sounds like a potato, so I really do apologize to anyone that watches my content, you know what I mean? The audio has been really fucking whack as of recently, but I'm going to be investing into a mic, and man, we're going to be growing, this shit's going to get a lot better. So thank you guys so much for, tuning in and staying with me, with the absolute potato fucking quality. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about UFC Vegas 80, Grant Dawson taking on Bobby Green. I'm going to show you guys my picks. I'm not really going to cover the prelims because you guys don't want to hear this audio for too long, but I'll show you my prelim picks on the screen, and then we'll head straight to the main card, man. Let's get into it.
You can call me Mystic OJs because I predict these things.
Alright, listen, bro, listen. These are my prelim picks. I'm not going to go over the prelims like I said. If you guys want to cash out on these picks, feel free to do it. But, brother, I'm not your financial advisor, my brother. I don't advise to bet, okay? No one bet, if you bet, it's whatever. But go ahead and take those picks, man. You know what I mean? I don't miss, bro. This is Mystic OJ speaking. Let's go to the main card. Okay, guys, the first fight that we are looking at on the main card, we got Alexander Hernandez taking on Bill Algor. I'm going to go through this fight really quickly. Alexander Hernandez, I'm just going to say this now. If the UFC only had 1 round fights, if MMA fights lasted 1 round and then you judge the round off that, I think Alexander Hernandez would be the GOAT of the UFC, okay? Change my mind, bro. Change my mind. Alexander Hernandez is literally a ticking bomb, and I mean a ticking bomb as in this guy has no cardio whatsoever, okay? He's going back down to 145. The thing with this man is when he fights at 145, he gasses out so quickly in the second round, okay? He can beat anybody in the first round, I mean anybody, but as soon as it hits that second round, he crumbles, absolutely crumbles with the cardio. He was also, brought up in a rich family, so I'm going to be honest with you, bro. If you're brought up in a rich family and you fight MMA, bro, most of the time, unless you're Calvin Kattar, you ain't got that dog in you, bro, you know what I mean? And when times get rough, in an MMA fight, Alexander Hernandez always finds a way to quit. He always finds a way to wilt. You know what I mean? He looked good in his last fight versus Jim Miller, but he almost got subbed. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to pick my boy Bill Algor. I really do respect Bill Algor. Bill Algor is the only man to beat Joe Anderson Brito in the UFC, which is very impressive. Bill Algor also survived the submission attempts from Herbert Burns, and if you know anything about Herbert Burns, he is the brother of Gilbert Burns. So you already know those guys are absolute beasts at jiu-jitsu. Bill Algor was able to survive all the submission attempts and basically beat Herbert Burns by exhaustion, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm going to trust in Bill Algor to get the job done. I think he's the more rounded fighter, and I think he has that dog in him, bro. We're basically going to see Alexander Hernandez versus Billy Quarantillo 2. You know what I mean? I just think Alexander Hernandez beats anybody in the first round. Like, literally anybody in the UFC. But then he gets absolutely smoked in the second round. And we know at 145, Alexander Hernandez has no fucking cardio. So I'm going to have to pick my boy Bill Algor by a second or a third round ticket after weathering a late storm. Attention, 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 people. Racially motivated, big dog, big bear, big line, Drew Dober is going to be fighting this weekend. He's going to be taking on another white male in Ricky Glenn. I'm actually kind of worried in this matchup because I feel like Drew Dober is just going to let Ricky Glenn win, bro. Like, what the fuck, dude? You guys get the point, bro. Like, if Drew Dober is not fighting a black dude, he always wants his white brothers to succeed. So, in all seriousness, I don't think Ricky Glenn has a chance in this fight. He's like 34, 35. He's pretty old, coming off a really bad KO loss to Christos Giagos. If you're getting smoked by Giagos that easily, you should probably retire. So, I think this might be his retirement fight. I'm not going to lie. Drew Dober, I think he's going to be a bit hesitant in the first round. He's going to be very, very hesitant, I can see. I just don't think he's going to get Ricky Glenn out of there in the first round, but I'm sensing a second round KO for sure, man, for sure. Ricky Glenn, he's just not that guy anymore, bro. He went to a draw with Grant Dawson, but he's not him, bro. You know what I mean? Lil bro, sit down. Drew Dober's about to sit this guy down, become 22-8 on his record. I got Drew Dober, the absolute giga chat of the UFC, by a second round KO. Moving on, boys, on to another fight on the main card. We have Alex Morono taking on Joaquin Buckley. This should be a fight of the night, or this should be a really interesting matchup. Obviously, Joaquin Buckley is coming in as a favorite, but everybody knows this. Alex Morono is going to be the underdog of the week. I repeat, underdog of the week. Now, I say this because, honestly, Joaquin Buckley is a hit or miss type of fighter, you know what I mean? He's the type of guy that can go on a 2-fight winning streak and get knocked out on his 3rd fight, you know what I mean? Alex Morono has shown durability issues in the past, you know what I mean? He got sparked by Chaos Williams very quickly. You know, he's been chinned a couple times. I'm not afraid to admit it, you know what I mean? He's a bit chinny, okay? But another thing about Alex Morono that I like is he has a very weird style of striking, and I honestly don't know if Joaquin Buckley is going to be able to adapt to the striking of Alex Morono. What I mean by this is Morono has really straight punches down the barrel, you know what I mean? He strikes really weird. Like, when he was fighting Donald Cerrone, he was piecing up my boy, and it was really sad to see Cerrone go out like that. But I think Morono is heavily underrated at welterweight. Obviously, this is the fight for Buckley to, you know, get him into that top 15 spot, you know what I mean? Get past a guy like Morono, who's a veteran. But I'm going to pick Morono, bro. I think Morono is better everywhere, you know what I mean? Honestly, Joaquin Buckley probably has, like, you know, better KO power, but that's really it, you know what I mean? I might look like a fool for picking Morono, but I'm going to trust him to get the job done. I can see him getting knocked out cold, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to pick Morono by 29-28 decision or even a submission win, bro. I can see Joaquin Buckley getting submitted with a nasty guillotine choke. We all know Morono has a great guillotine. And yeah, man, that's my underdog of the week, bro. Let me know who you guys are picking for this fight. I'd love to hear in the comments below. We're going with Alex Morono. Okay, guys, we're looking at the co-main event of this fight night card. We have Joe Bodybags Pyfer taking on Abdul Razak Al Hassan. So this is a very interesting fight in my opinion. I feel like Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he's a little bit underrated. You know, he's not that good. He's a one-trick pony. All of his wins in the UFC are by finish. They're by knockout. So this guy obviously has a lot of power in his hands, but he really is just a one-trick pony. You know what I mean? He got out-grappled by Jacob Malkoon. He's lost a lot recently. He recently lost to Joaquin Buckley as well, if I'm pretty sure. So I just wouldn't trust him to get the job done in this fight. He's a 3-1 underdog. Joe Pyfer, on the other hand, he's 6'2", 11-2 coming into this matchup. He's a really good grappler, you know what I mean? That's one thing to mention about Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer has whooped Eric Anders and GM3 in grappling matches. If you're beating GM3 in a grappling match, you are legit at grappling. That's all I'm going to say. Joe Pyfer is 2-0 in the UFC. There's a lot of momentum riding on Joe Pyfer, you know what I mean? I'm going to say right now, Abdul Razak Al Hassan always has a puncher's chance, you know what I mean? He's always had that chance in the UFC. He can knock anybody out. But I think Joe Pyfer is a bit too tough, I'm going to be honest. Joe Pyfer fights really smart. He has great boxing, great fundamentals, you know what I mean? Abdul Razak Al Hassan swings like a madman and just hopes he connects. So the way that I see this fight happening is I can see Joe Pyfer really just grappling with Abdul Razak Al Hassan, not even having to really stand up. And if Joe Pyfer does win, I'm going to say like a second round TKO. But I just don't see Pyfer, you know, getting Abdul Razak Al Hassan out of there. So I'm going to go with a decision for Joe Pyfer. I'm going to go 29-28 or even 30-27. So I'm predicting a dominant fight for Joe Pyfer. But let me know what you guys think, who's going to win this fight. You know, Abdul has that puncher's chance, man. Guys, before we make our predictions for the main event, I just want to say, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. You know, comment who you think's going to win on this card. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your predictions. Also, subscribe if you're new to my channel, man. You know what I mean? I plan on doing big things in the future. I'm actually going to be dropping a video tomorrow. Not going to tell you guys what it is, but it's going to be a fun video. So stay tuned, man. In the main event, we have Bobby Green taking on Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson undefeated in the UFC so far. Bobby Green coming in with a record of 30-14-1. And I'm going to say this right now, guys. I actually think Bobby Green has a very decent chance in this fight. The way that I see this fight playing out, you know what I mean? Both these guys are the same height. That doesn't really matter. But the point is that this is a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? Grant Dawson is going to be able to imply the grappling whenever he wants. You know what I mean? Literally a super dominant grappler, right? You know, as soon as this guy's able to, you know, control you, he, like, anytime he gets a body triangle on you, he's basically going to win that round off you. He's more than likely going to submit you with a rear naked choke. He's been doing it a lot recently to Jared Gordon, Marco Madsen. He has a lot of rear naked choke wins on his record. But Bobby Green has pretty good takedown defense, you know what I mean? I think only Islam was able to take him down, maybe a couple other people. And Bobby Green has pretty slick jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? He submitted Tony Ferguson, a washed Tony Ferguson, I just want to point out. So, yeah, I'm going to say this right now. I think Bobby Green might win the first 2 rounds of this fight. I really do. I think Bobby Green is going to piece the fuck out of Grant Dawson. I think Grant Dawson, you know, is going to have a bit of trouble. He's going to have to, you know, overclimb some obstacles. I think Bobby Green is going to start piecing him up for a bit, but I do like Grant Dawson's chances in this fight. He's a big favorite. You know, he has great composure, and his grappling is just too dominant. You know, once he controls you, you're done. You're either getting submitted or you're getting dominated. That win against Damir Ismagulov has aged really well, and yeah, man, you know what I mean? All I'm going to say is Bobby Green might win the first round or 2. You know, if Bobby Green does get a finish in this fight, it will be in the first or the second round. But I just see Grant Dawson, as the fight goes on in the third and the fourth round, I just think Grant Dawson's going to wear down on Bobby Green, not even with the striking particularly, but just with the pressure and the grappling, you know what I mean? Just trying to assert the grappling constantly. I don't think Bobby Green is going to be able to stuff every single takedown of Grant Dawson, which is my point. So eventually Grant Dawson's going to get that takedown, and when he does, he's going to control Bobby Green for the whole round. So, you know what I mean? This is a closer fight than people think, but Bobby Green he's not that guy anymore, man. He's 37 years old, about to be 38, I'm pretty sure, something like that, but he's old. You get the point. Grant Dawson is young, super hungry, undefeated in the UFC still, which is super impressive. Like I mentioned, he went to a draw with Ricky Glenn, but ever since then, Grant Dawson switched camps, from that fight, and he's been doing tremendously well. So I like Grant Dawson's chances in this fight. I think he might get a third round or a fourth round submission. I can just see it in my head. I can see Grant Dawson submitting Bobby Green with a rear naked choke, Bobby Green maybe having one more fight after this and then retiring. So that's my prediction for the main event, guys. So those are my picks for UFC Vegas 80, guys. Let me know what your picks are down in the comments below. Make sure you like the video, man. Subscribe. I'm going to be dropping a video tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting video. Not a tier list. It's going to be some news in the MMA world. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great night. Stay blessed, man. Peace.